UPBOptionMillionaires.com on this Monday, October 19, 2015. S&P 500 futures closed at the highs of the trading session, matching the overnight highs we saw while everyone was sleeping early this morning, late last night. If you look, though, Friday, late in the trading day, we had a frenzied buying spree, mirroring a lot of these spikes that we're seeing to the upside. It goes all the way back to last week. In the middle of Thursday's session, out of nowhere, the buyers who were just hiding behind a closet somewhere decided to come out and just buy everything. All right? They didn't want it so much here or here or here or even over here. No, they wanted it here and here and here, driving prices up, closing not just at the highs of the session, but surging after the bell. So look at this move we've had since then, a consolidation phase, earnings coming out, helping to propel the indices to highs, right? IBM after the bell coming out, which is wonderful. Oh, no! Not so much. IBM down to 142, down $7. Used to be the market leader. IBM actually used to move the Dow Jones Industrial Average more than any other Dow component. Now just a distant memory. Oh, IBM, how we sob for you. Please, IBM, please come back. So you got IBM tanking. You have Walmart. Look at Walmart continuing to roll over. Walmart, even today, my goodness, flat. Look at that action. Wow, 58.46. I mean, who would have thought IBM 67.68 just a couple days ago? Again, used to be somewhat of a market leader. I don't know, a couple people shop there. Oh, yeah, the poor and the middle class. This is not a poor and middle class stock market, I'll tell you that much. Let's look at the XLE Energy. Rolling over today, down almost 2%. And this downward channel is what I continue to talk about. Correlation with the S&P 500. And you can see the move. The trend is broken. Hello, trend. Goodbye, trend. You can see this channel continuing to point to lower prices for energy, which is going to ultimately drag down the indices. I believe S&P 500, putting in a nice topping pattern. But this, look at that candle. I mean, that is about as big a candle as you're going to see to want to negate the bearish sentiment that was overhanging the market after the August crash. Myself looking for downside. Yep, I was wrong. I'm not the perfect trader. If you look for the chart perspective over the last 9 months, the middle of the month has been a turning point. It's marked a turning point for the S&P 500. So you look at the middle of September, we fell to our lows recently. What a rally we've had. Are we going to turn around here? Are we going to turn this ship around and head back to the lows that we saw just in the middle of September and back in the middle to end of August? It's a sight to behold, of course, the earnings season. The more negative numbers that are coming out, the economy, the economic data, and the earnings report, seemingly the higher the stock market goes. It's not a earnings-fueled ascension to higher prices. No, it's a short squeeze. That's how they're characterizing it. We have Google looking very bullish, though. If you look, some of these charts, I talked about it in spite of my bearish skew. I talked about Google looking very promising as far as a chart perspective is concerned. I also want to look at the price here. Look at this, $69.95 we closed at for Google. Almost $700. Sounds like a rollback special, Walmart special. Google on sale, $69.95. Another stock that looks poised for a breakout. I talked about this last week as well. Amazon, and look at this broke out late last week. I actually got some puts for a little bit of a pullback back into this channel. Did not happen. Lost money on those puts. It does indeed happen. Not the perfect trader. You can see the move we've had up almost to record highs. Amazon. And this is the baton passing, folks. This is the Walmart dropping 8%. Amazon rising 8%. Amazon with all those brick and mortar real... Oh, no, not brick and mortar. What would happen if Walmart went belly up? My gosh, look at all the empty real estate we could put. So many Dunkin' Donuts and Buffalo... We'd have a Buffalo Wild Wings on every street corner. Oh my gosh, we'll be so skinny and healthy as a country. Let's look at some other stocks to watch. Home Depot talked about this double top. Yeah, you see it. If you look really close, like over the last couple months, the last 60 days, look at that. Here's one record high, and we're getting right up to it. This could be a double top, folks. I'm actually just trading it for a very short-term pullback because with Home Depot, everything to the downside has been very, very short-term. Long-term, lots of nails and screws and Portland cement being bought these days. Home builder confidence hasn't been this high since they were building TPs. I don't know, up at Plymouth Rock. I have no idea what I'm talking about here, but look at this. The chart certainly looks like it's going to roll over. Oh, my goodness. Speaking of rolling over, how about Chipotle Mexican Grill? Rolled over briefly. You barely see that 5% decline that we saw last week. Actually, if you look at this chart, this looks kind of bullish too. But it did. I promise you, folks, Chipotle Mexican Grill at one point yesterday on one trading session was down 5%. 5%. Whew! So let's skip this one and let's move on to a couple other charts here before I call it a night and take my Serenity Now medicine. How about the bond market? Look at TLT, really putting in a nice formation here. I think it's going to break to the upside. A similar type pattern that we're seeing, and let's go to the US dollar index from a long-term perspective. I think this is kind of adding to my bearish skew for the market. Look at this wonderful pattern here. I know a lot of people think the US dollar index is poised to decline out of this pattern. I don't think so. I've been talking about this really before even the year started. Before the year even started, I talked about a parabolic move to the upside for the US dollar. I'd call this parabolic. And we're getting this consolidation, and now I'm talking about a continuation of said move. That's going to bring us up to about 106 plus on the US dollar index. Yeah, like right up here. This nice head and shoulder pattern was for the internet bubble. We pulled down as the financial crisis. Everybody here, the financial crisis is the race for everybody to get into the US dollar because that was a safe haven asset. Well, they're racing back in it again, not because of safe haven asset, characteristic of the U.S. dollar. No, it's the least sweaty shirt in the gym, or the least hairy cockroach on the plate. I don't know. None of which is appetizing, and I think what's going to happen is the U.S. dollar starts to rally. It's going to be because all the other countries suck, and it's going to affect emerging market debt. We can get into that another time, but if you look at this pattern, I don't know, everybody thinks it's going to fall, the U.S. dollar index. Very well may. I am not the perfect, always 100% certain trader, but I look at this formation, and it's going to break to the upside as it did. If you look at these formations here, previously on a shorter term time frame, they look almost precisely like this. All right, UPBOptionMillionaires.com. So we have earnings report. I brought up CMG. That's going to be interesting going forward. Certainly, if you look from the chart perspective, CMG looks somewhat bullish, as well as Netflix look bearish. Amazon looks bullish. Google looks bullish. Apple continues to look bearish. And I talked about this pattern playing out here to the downside, where actually you can look, the price action really starting to narrow here. We're going to head under $100. Talked about this a couple weeks ago as well. The timing is everything there. So I think Apple lower, Google higher, Amazon higher, stock market lower. Home Depot is going to pull back. These are all my opinions. Expedia, we traded that for downside last week. New all-time record high today, Expedia. This is a trend that you probably don't want to get in front of, but it's possible double hot top here as well as we hit record highs a couple months ago. Also, Priceline.com nearing new all-time record highs. But again, look at this action. Bring on the action. We bring a trend line across here. We're topping here. It's just a good time to play for a little bit of downside. All right, I'm going to cut it short there at UPB. After the bell here on this Monday, October 19, 2015. We have earnings reports also from eBay. What else do we got this week? IBM, you saw what happened to it after the bell. Oh, yeah, I talked about Western Digital from a chart perspective. Trading for downside. Look at what happened to Western Digital after the bell, although it's bouncing a little bit. Looking to buy some SanDisk. That's the rumor. Heading around. You can see the initial low is 75.50. 75.50. Do I hit 76? 76.50. It finished around $79. And if you look on the flip side, the disk of sand. SanDisk. Wow, look at this. Up to 80. Pulling back a little bit, but looks good. Looks good, folks. All right. I'm going to go get another cup of coffee. I'll see you guys in the morning in the chat room at OptionMillionaires.com. Have a great evening. Goodbye.